My grandmother could tell you it was going to storm a full day before it did, and she never owned a barometer, a radio, or one single thing with a battery in it. She'd just watch the cat. Some mornings that cat would sit and wash itself, one paw dragged back behind its ear, over and over and over. And Nan would look up from her dough and say, "Rain's coming, get the washing off the line." And she was right. Every time. I still live this way, if I'm honest with you. I've got a phone in my pocket that'll tell me the weather down to the hour, and I trust it about as far as I can throw it. I trust the sky. I trust the smoke off my stove. And I trust my own knee, which we will get to. There was one sign my grandmother trusted more than any barometer ever built, and it never once failed her in all her life. That's number 12. Let's start by looking up. Number 1. A red sky. You've heard the old rhyme, and the old folks lived by it. Red sky at night, sailors' delight. Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. My grandmother said it the English way. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. But it means the same thing, and here's why it actually works. In most of this country, weather rolls in from the west, and the sun sets in the west. So a deep red, glowing sunset means the light is shining through clear, dry, dusty air off to the west. And that good, dry air is heading your way. Fair weather coming. But a red sky in the morning? That means the dry air has already passed you by, moved off to the east, and what's rolling in behind it is wet. Sailors, shepherds, farmers, they all knew it, and it holds up to this day. Number 2. A ring around the moon. Step outside at night and there's a pale ring, a halo, circling the moon. Sometimes around the sun in the daytime too. Rain or snow is coming, the old folks said, usually inside of a day or two. And this one is just plain science wearing a country dress. That ring is moonlight shining through thin, high clouds made of ice crystals. The kind of clouds that ride in ahead of a big weather system and the rain it's dragging behind it. There was even a way to count it. The number of stars you could still see inside the ring told you how many days until the weather arrived. Now, my husband did not believe a word of this for the better part of our marriage. That man trusted his phone like scripture. And one weekend he had a fishing trip planned. The phone said clear skies, and the night before I stepped out and saw a ring around the moon you could have driven a truck through. I told him, "Rain's coming." He patted my hand and packed his tackle box. Every man on that lake got soaked to the bone the next afternoon. Every one but him, because he'd finally, grudgingly, left a day late. He doesn't pack the truck anymore without asking me to step outside and look up first. Took him 30 years, but he got there. Number 3. The shape of the clouds. You didn't need a name for a cloud to read it. You needed to know high from low. High, thin, wispy clouds. The ones that looked like a horse's tail brushed across the sky. Those meant change was coming, but a day or so off yet. There's an old line for it. Mackerel skies and mare's tails make tall ships carry low sails. Low clouds were the ones to mind. When the clouds came down low and grey and heavy, pressing down on the hilltops like they were tired, rain was close. The rule was simple. The higher and whiter the clouds, the further off your weather. The lower and darker they hung, the sooner you'd better get indoors. Number 4, the stars looking bright and close. Here's one that fools people, because you'd think a sky full of bright, sharp stars means fair weather ahead. Often it's the opposite. When the stars look unusually bright, close enough to touch, and they're twinkling hard, flickering like candles in a draft. That hard twinkle means fast winds high up in the air. And fast winds up high mean a change is on its way down to you. The old folks said the more the stars danced, the sooner you'd feel the weather turn. That's the sky. Anybody can read the sky if they'll just tip their head back. The next few take a little more knowing. These are the ones my grandmother could read, and most folks walked right past. Number 5. Which way the smoke goes. This was the first thing Nan checked on a cold morning. The smoke coming off the chimneys up and down the holler. When smoke rises straight up, clean and tall into the sky, the air is dry and settled, and you'll have a fair day. But when the smoke won't climb, when it hangs low, curls back down toward the ground, and drifts along instead of rising, That's damp, heavy air sitting close, and that means a storm is on its way. I still do this. I watch the smoke off my own wood stove every winter morning before I trust a thing that phone tells me. Straight up, I hang the wash. Hanging low and lazy, it stays in the basket. Number 6. The world starts to smell stronger. Right before rain, everything gets louder in your nose. The ditch out back, the flowers, the turned earth in the garden, the whole yard. It all wakes up and gets strong an hour or two before the first drop ever falls. And there's a reason. As the pressure drops and the air gets damp ahead of a storm, all those smells that plants and soil had been holding on to get released into the air at once. Your grandmother didn't know the chemistry of it and didn't need to. She just knew that when she stepped out on the porch and the whole world smelled suddenly sweet and green and heavy, she had about an hour to get things done before the sky opened up. Number 7. Sound travels farther. On an ordinary day, there's plenty you can't hear. A train 2 counties over, the church bell in the next town, a dog barking clear across the valley. But right before a storm, all of it comes in close and clear, like the whole world moved a little nearer. That's the low, damp, heavy air again. It bends sound and carries it farther than dry air ever could. The old folks had it down to a saying. When you can hear the train that plain, the rain's not far behind. So on a still evening, if the far-off sounds suddenly seemed to be right at your elbow, you knew to bring the animals in. Number 8. Salt goes damp and the doors stick. Your whole house turns into a weather instrument before rain, if you know what to watch. The salt in the cellar goes damp and clumps up in the shaker. The clothesline and the ropes pull tight, and the wooden doors and drawers swell up and start to stick. That back door that opened fine all week suddenly fights you. It's the moisture climbing in the air, soaking into everything, a day ahead of the rain. My grandmother kept a little dish of salt on the windowsill just to watch it. And I'll tell you, my own back door sticks a full day before a storm, every single time. And I trust that swollen old door a good deal more than I trust the little sun and cloud picture on my telephone. Now, I'll be honest with you, because I promised you I always would. You can read every last one of these right and still get it dead wrong. I did, just this past spring. Low smoke off the stove, salt gone to clumps, back door sticking, and my knees singing like a Sunday choir. Every sign I owned told me a big one was rolling in over the mountain. So I called off the wash, told my sister to cancel the whole family cookout, and battened everything down for the worst storm of the year. It was the prettiest, most golden day we'd had in months. Not a single cloud in the sky. My sister has not let me forget it, and I don't expect she ever will. So don't let anybody, me included, tell you the old ways are foolproof. Even the best reader misses a page now and then. Now, those first 8, you have to look for. These last 4 look for you. Because the animals and your own body feel the weather coming long before you do. Number 9. The cows lie down and the birds sit low. Farmers watch their cattle. When cows lie down in the field all together in the middle of the day, rain is on the way. Some said they were saving themselves a dry patch of grass. Some said they just felt it in their bones. And watch the birds. When they come down and sit low, crowding the wires and the fence posts, roosting early instead of wheeling around up high, that's a sign too. In the thin, low-pressure air before a storm, flying is harder work, so the birds settle in and wait it out. Birds on the wire, storm on the way. Number 10. The little things get busy. Look smaller still, and the bugs will tell you. Spiders take down their webs, or build them small and tight when rough weather's coming. Ants pile their mounds up higher and seal the doors, working like the dickens right before a rain. And the bees stop wandering. They stay close to the hive and won't venture far. There's an old country line, and it's near enough true. A bee was never caught in a shower. All those little creatures feel a change in the pressure and the damp faster than we ever could, and they get their houses in order accordingly. Number 11. The cat behind the ears, the dog in the grass. And here we come back to that cat from the start. A cat sitting and washing behind its ears. That paw going up and over, again and again, was one of the oldest rain signs there is. A dog eating grass or turning restless and clingy and underfoot was another. The old folks kept one eye on their animals the way you'd keep an eye on a gauge. My grandmother's cat washed behind its ears, and Nan got the wash in, and by supper it was pouring. My own cat does the very same thing, in the very same way, and I have learned the hard way not to argue with her. Number 12. An ache in the bones. Here it is. The sign my grandmother trusted above every other, and the one that never let her down. Her own knee. Nan would be sitting at the table, and she'd reach down and rub that knee, and she'd say, "Rain by morning." And there would be. I thought it was the funniest thing when I was a girl. Grandma's barometer, we called it, and we'd roll our eyes. And it turns out she was more accurate than the weatherman. When the pressure drops ahead of a storm, the tissue around an old, worn, hard-worked joint swells up just a little, and it aches. A body that has lived long enough and been put to enough work becomes a real and honest instrument, one that reads the sky from the inside. I know this now, because I have that knee. The very same one. Same spot, same dull ache, a full day before every storm that comes over these mountains. And the first time I caught myself rubbing it and saying rain by morning out loud in my own kitchen, I had to sit down. Because that wasn't superstition talking. That was my grandmother, still keeping the weather in me. So let me ask you, and be honest. Is there somebody in your life who feels the weather in their body before any phone can say a word? A knee, a hip, an old break, a scar that aches before the rain? And when they call it, do you believe them? Or do you call it coincidence, right up until the sky proves them right? Tell me down in the comments. I want to hear about the ones who are never wrong, because here's what I've come to think. Our grandparents weren't behind the times. They were paying attention. They didn't have a little screen to stare at, so they looked at the sky and the smoke and the cows and the cat and their own two hands, and they read a whole language written right across the world. A language most of us have quit reading. Heads down, thumbs going, waiting on a little picture to tell us whether to carry an umbrella. And half the time the little picture is wrong and the knee is right. I'm not telling you to throw out your phone, but maybe every now and again, step out on the porch, tip your head back, take a good breath in, and see if the old world will still talk to you. Because it's all still up there. The red sky, the ring around the moon, the low, lazy smoke, the cat with its paw behind its ear. My grandmother is gone, but her knee lives on in mine, and I would not trade it for every satellite in the sky. So what's your count? How many of these did you already know? And how many will you be watching for now? Tell me the one that never fails you, and tell me the one that fooled you good. I read every last one. Knock on wood on your way out.